Welcome to EJH British Cars. So in the TR2, I've never been very happy with the speed at which the engine cranks on the starter. It always seemed to be dragging. So I was curious, with the battery to a normal charge, I put a jumper cable between the negative terminal of the battery and the bare part of the engine block. I tried that and the starter worked much better. So even though there's a jumper wire, this factory jumper wire between the frame and the block at the engine mount and the timing cover, and also I put some extra serrated washers at the body mounts that are under the hood, which is on that section of the frame that runs up at about 30 degrees. It doesn't seem to be carrying the power the way it should be, just probably because I had everything apart, scraped it, painted the heck out of it with good solid paint. So it's probably just not grounding very well for whatever reason, either between the chassis and the body or whatever. So to remedy that, I'm going to add a small number 4 wire from the grounding strap on the battery over onto the motor, and I think I'm probably going to put it underneath where the coil bolt's on. That seems like a short run and a decent spot. So I'll pick up the wire. Let's go see what we can do, and we'll get to use a hydraulic uh, wire end crimper, which we did a video on a few months ago. So it's fun to play with that again. So let's get started. So this is the number 4 wire we picked up to do this job with. Make it look beautiful here, get these little kinks out. So this is the connector I'm going to use. I'm going to put that there so I can trim back just enough insulation so I don't wind up with a bunch of wire hanging out bare. There's that mark. There we go. And that should just fit on there nicely. So that's just about perfect. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to put a piece of heat shrink on there. This is a prefabricated pieces that come from Harbor Freight. So I'm just going to cut that in half. Put that on before we crimp it. These blocks have the size of the wire that would fit in them. Unfortunately, we need the size of the crimper that would fit in them. So you kind of have to, this is asking for number 2 is what this is saying, but as we know, this is number 4. So I like to put this with that seam straight up. I think it looks better that way. So we got that in. Put that seam straight up. Got the wire pushed in all the way. Make sure you keep the clamp, the end fitting in the correct position. We got the wire all the way in. Orientation correct. Crimped it until the 2 blocks touched each other. And that's a thing of beauty. Next, we'll pull the shrink wrap up. Let me get my heat gun. So we got that shrink wrap on, so it's just touching the tang. Turn the heater on. Takes a second for the gun to warm up, but it's starting to now. I really like using a heat gun because you don't burn anything. You know, you do this usually with a wood match or a cigarette lighter. It's really a bit hot. This takes a little longer. It does a nice job. And there we go. So let's go skid. All right, so already pulled the screw out of the connector. So put the screw through, or bolt, like wrestling with spaghetti, no doubt. Put it through the other end. And I have a washer on this side because I got a wire and a serrated washer underneath it too. And of course, I've got the thread started. Made it in a little bit. I'm going to want this cable to go down this way. Get about there. Alrighty. So I'm going to put a clamp in here. So these are the replacement sheet metal nuts that should fit in this hole, I think. So put a metal clamp with a rubber bushing on it. It's a 3/8 size. And I put one of those square nuts I showed you into the body here. I did have to open the hole up just a little bit. I want this to look fairly neat. That looks pretty good right there. There's a little more wire there. Yeah, so when I trim this to length, you gotta remember that you gotta leave a little bit of slack in here because this motor moves and it can move backwards and forwards a little bit if you're slamming on the brakes or if you get an accident or something. So we don't want to be stressing this wire. So I'm going to run that down through here. I'll get behind this fuel line. I think what I'm going to do is I'll go below it a little bit. So you see we got some nice slack there. So let's trim that end off and clamp on this other end piece. So we got my piece of shrink wrap on there. I'm going to try to get this cramped on at an orientation that's not going to stress the cable when it's done, which means it needs to lay this way. That looks pretty good. I basically just run this down until the blocks touch each other. You really feel it because the hydraulics really just sort of, it's like you hit a dead end, like right there. Another well-defined end. I'll get that pulled up on there, and I'll get my heat gun over here and shrink that. It is. When I'm back there, all nice and neat. Got my clamp on. Connection up top. It's good. Oh, I get to see if it works now. Well, I think we've exceeded success. So I haven't got the ignition on. It's just the starter. That turns pretty good. I like it. So that made a huge difference. So that was definitely the problem. I don't know if that'll affect the charging rate because it always seems to doesn't charge as much as I think it should, but it's an electronic regulator, so you can't adjust it. But maximum output on that is 19 amps and the draw on the starter is 300. So a lot of power difference in there. And it was working to some degree.
So hope you enjoyed all that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, and join, and we'll see you next time.